not a big fan of any of these markers. Maybe these are good. I forgot I got brand new ones. Alright. What do we want to put? Alright, so like we talked about Alexander Stokes. The information comes in from here. This is Rothenbrenner. This is also Lagrangian. Is also the bifurcation model that looks like a fucking magnetic field. Okay. This is 1, 0, and this is the imaginary plane. This is analytical continuation or alternating current. Put those together, I guess you pretty much got C squared, which is where we're going because we're trying to get to E. I wish I was, yeah, there you go. Okay, what I wanted to bring up right here is your alignment. So think of your body as a node in the network. I call it CP, consciousness point, for a CNS, you know, because it's our illusion that we're the only one on this plane. Everybody, every central nervous system is on this plane, no matter what species they are, and other entities that have neural nets or have neural nets that self-organize also are on here, but they might not have the exact same sort of critical line that we do. They're going to be maybe down here somewhere. Okay? Maybe their analytical continuation is actually in a completely different part of the plane. And that's where, like I was talking about before, those symbolic stacks and that topographical structures that pervade through our emotional drive regulation systems that Jonathan Pageau talks about showing up consistently in topography, or consistently in symbolic art, okay? They are descriptions of the weighting systems of the drives as you pass through the evolutionary chain, which means that other entities do have sentience that counts. Are we smart enough to know how smart animals are? No, we're fucking not. Not even fucking close. We were much smarter at figuring that out before we bit from the tree of knowledge. The tree of knowledge is a representation of certain chemical structures from when we were monkeys. I don't know why I even drew that, but we'll just go with it. What is that? So we'll just make a tree out of it. Okay? Apple. Apple. It's a green apple. It's a little sour, I guess. The snake is the predator in the tree. And the mirror predator, or the reflected predator, remember, 45 degrees. The reflected predator in social structure, or Sheldrake's resonance field, or your quantum lattice, which is harmonically structured as evaluation by your symmetries on the stacked chain, which is what I'm going to get into in just a second to explain why that works energetically and explain the center of mass idea. But right now I'm going to the insulin from fruit and honey operate on the thalamus through the selective attention network and blurs the VLPFC and allows the caudate to bypass the thalamic gate, hold open. Damn it. Damn it. The thalamic gate hold open is courage towards Natch in the present. It uses the DLPFC through the medial PFC to relay to the mid-anterior cingulate cortex to hold the thalamus open for more information. For more information, so that your cortical columns can be accurately and precisely calibrated for max success. This literally requires more voltage. Well, y'all can hear my words. Voltage. For some reason it helps me to write this shit, even though you can't even really understand what the fuck I'm writing. More voltage requires more volume. In the nervous system. Look at this. C, light. N, nerve, the intersection between material and energy moving at the speed of light or facilitating it to do an integral. Okay? So quantum integral path, which is how we measure quantum physics at this moment. It's not a fucking mistake, guys. We have to develop a new setup for the Hilbert space that includes Riemann zeros, the p-adic numbering system as a non-trivial zero detection in order to understand the scalar for the coupling constant for a more flexible BCI structure. All right. So here we were with this. As information comes in, we already understand that stuff gets sheaved off the organizational structure that presents information to us. When it has engrams, it gets confused. It creates problems with the microtubule construction and the oscillatory transmission of information between nerve endings and cells, etc. And also it doesn't properly identify the topographical arrangement of the particles and material that we're looking at, because the refraction ratios are off inside of us. We aren't able to detect it. Here's why. If you're a node, here you are, looking out into the world. Here are your drives. You're doing a fucking sonar, man. You're getting the information coming in. Sorry for all my cussing. I am. You're trying to figure out what the chord is. What is the chord through all of this? These are your different drives. These are your filter settings. Damn it, with these fucking... These are your filter, functor, Fourier, etc. structures. This is a very low mass situation, it would seem. That one's full. This one isn't. This one isn't. This one's here. Okay? This is crude. This would be worth more as you go down, you see? But this is an example. I'm trying to show you how that overlap adds up. Those overlapping amounts, okay? That's your vector summation. That gets integrated into more than the sum of its parts. Sum. Local reporting. I don't know if y'all can see that at all. Where did all those nice things go? Yeah. Local reporting. This is the reason why we have free speech. It is a fractal of energetic efficiency. And the way that information operates. That does not make it something that is only related to numbers. It means it's even more sacred because it's so fucking real. Science and religion and everything that we hold sacred are not different things. We are confused. This person, whoever it is, look at all this overlap. Whoa. Pretty strong, man. Look at all that overlap. This person is going to have a massive squid into the imaginary plane to update the next structure. The next state, wherever it's at. It's going here. Right? Because time is passing. The magnitude of energy that is stress testable, or that will survive the fire. The fire of survival. The turbulence is eventually going to get put out with a flood. which is why we have to have the arc. But that's a different thing. Just can't help with the symmetries. Doo-doo-doo. Anyways, that's why so many people who have really gotten into how the mind works and just reality. I mean, that's why like Jung and others, including Newton, obsessed with and Jordan, obsessed with alchemy and alchemy symbols. It's all the same thing. Jonathan Pageau is talking about the same thing. Not as intensely, but I mean, he's in his own vein, I'm trying to explain the relationship and why they come about. I think that's good. That's probably good for this video.